今日呢，繼續嚟講呢係登山寶訓嘅 message。
Today, let's continue to talk about our Sermon on the Mount messages.
今日我講嘅聖經是第5章第17到48節。
My passage this morning is found in Matthew chapter 5, verses 17 to 48.
這31節嘅經文裡面，好多一個真正重要嘅信息。
Within these 31 verses of Scripture, we see a very important message.
咱嘅義需要亞嘅文士及法利賽人嘅義。
Our righteousness should surpass that of the Pharisees and the teachers of the law.
第5章17到第20節是這段經文嘅重點。
Chapter 5, verses 17 to 20 is the central theme of this passage.
咱大聲讀看咪嗬，
Let's read this.
咱就壓力晒嚟，英文讀就係最咯嗬。
Do not think that I have come to abolish the law or the prophets. I have not come to abolish them, but to fulfill them. I tell you the truth, until heaven and earth disappear, not the smallest letter, not the least stroke of a pen, will by any means disappear from the law until everything is accomplished. Anyone who breaks one of the least of these commandments and teaches others to do the same will be called least in the kingdom of heaven. But whoever practices and teaches these commands will be called great in the kingdom of heaven. For I tell you that unless your righteousness surpasses that of the Pharisees and the teachers of the law, you will certainly not enter the kingdom of heaven.
耶穌講過嚟咯，唔是變將律法先地堵起。
Jesus said, I have come not to abolish the law or the prophets.
我嚟咯，是要成全律法。
I have come to fulfill the law.
耶穌講，律法裡面一點一畫都未再廢去。
And Jesus said, not the smallest letter, not the least stroke of a pen will by any means disappear from the law.
耶穌講，你嘅義若無亞嘅文士及法利賽人嘅義，你未通入去天國裡面。
And Jesus said that unless your righteousness surpasses that of the Pharisees and the teachers of the law, you will not be able to enter the kingdom of
這
heaven.
段嘅經文嘅重點，
The main point of this passage
就是講咱嘅義的確需要亞嘅文士及法利賽人嘅義。
is that our righteousness must surpass the righteousness of the Pharisees and the teachers of the law.
耶穌驚咱未明白，
Jesus was concerned that we might not understand
所以
this.
第21到48節，
That is why in verses 21 to 48,
耶穌用個 example 嚟讓人明白什麼是亞嘅文士及法利賽人嘅義。
Jesus used 5 examples to explain what it is what does it mean to say that our righteousness must surpass that of the righteousness of the Pharisees and the teachers of the law.
咱想明白這段嘅聖經，想大聲明白三個問題嘅答案。
To understand this passage, we must first understand the answers to 3 questions.
頭一個 question， 成全律法是什麼意思？
The first question, what does it mean to fulfill the law?
文士及法利賽人嘅義是什麼意思？
Now, what is the meaning of the righteousness of the Pharisees and the teachers of the law?
咱嘅義又是什麼意思？
What is our righteousness?
你係曉答這三個問題，
And if you are able to answer these 3 questions,
你就明白什麼是咱嘅義亞嘅文士及法利賽人。
then will you be able to understand what it means that our righteousness must surpass that of the righteousness of the Pharisees and the teachers of the law?
咱大家嚟看幾則嘅經文，
Let's first take a look at a few passages or verses of Scripture.
21到22節。
Verses 21 to 22.
你聽到有吩咐古早嘅人講，只是我及你講。
You have heard that it was said to the people long ago, but I tell you.
第27、28節，
Verse 27, 28.
你聽到有人講，只是我及你講。
You have heard that it was said, but I tell you.
33到34節，
Verses 33 to 34.
你聽到，但是我及你講。
Again, you have heard that it was said, but I tell you.
38到39節，你聽到，但我及你講。
Verses 38 to 39, you have heard that it was said, but I tell you.
43到44節，你聽到，但我及你講。
Verses 43 to 44, you have heard that it was said, but I tell you.
這31節嘅經文裡面有個擺有一個 pattern。
Now in these passages, we see a pattern repeated 5 times.
You had heard, but I tell you。
You have heard, but I tell you.
耶穌愛講什麼？
What is Jesus trying to say?
即係有兩款嘅義。
There are two kinds of righteousness
You
here.
have heard.
You have heard.
這是文士法利賽人嘅義。
This refers to the righteousness of the Pharisees and the scribes.
But I tell you,
But I tell you,
這是咱應該有嘅義。
now this refers to the righteousness, but that we must have.
耶穌愛咱明白將真正重要嘅代志。
Now Jesus wants us to understand something very important.
什麼叫做成全律法？
What does it mean to fulfill the law?
耶穌愛咱完完全全看到律法真正嘅意思是什麼？
Jesus wants us to see the true meaning of the law.
因為要文士法利賽人將上帝嘅義，互人未了解，互人未明白。
Because what the Pharisees and the scribes did was to confuse the people about the true meaning of righteousness.
為什麼呢？
Why?
文士法利賽人嘅義是什麼呢？
What is the righteousness of the Pharisees and the scribes?
是律法加照真罪嘅傳統。
It was the law plus many, many traditions.
後律法無看到真正嘅意思喺度落。
So that people did not see the true meaning of righteousness.
耶穌嚟。
Jesus came
愛將傳統奪走，互人只看到什麼是真正律法，
and it came to take away tradition so that people may see what the true law is.
什麼是咱嘅義呢？
What is our righteousness?
咱嘅義就是真正律法嘅義，就是耶穌基督為君所成就嘅義。
The righteousness that Jesus fulfilled for us is the true righteousness of the law.
耶穌驚咱實在未明白，
Jesus was concerned that we might not understand.
所以耶穌用咗個 example，互人知影什麼是咱嘅義。
That is why Jesus used 5 examples to show us what our righteousness
21
must be.
到26節講到 murder 嘅代志，
Verses 21 to 26 talks about the matter of murder.
27到32節講到淫亂及要切嘅代志。
Verses 27 to 32 talks about the matter of adultery and divorce.
33到37講到起誓嘅代志，
Verses 33 to 37 talks about making oaths.
38到42節講到以眼還眼嘅代志，
Verses 38 to 42 talks about an eye for an eye.
43到47節講到聽敵人嘅代志。
And verses 43 to 47 talks about love for our enemies.
今日我只講頭兩嘅 example，
Today, I'm going to talk about the first 2 examples only.
集嘅我講其他所幾曬 example。
And in October, I'll talk about the rest of the 3 examples.
論太冷
Talking about murder.
21 to 26，
Verses 21 to
那時
26.
候大聲讀看咪，
Let's first read the passage
我這個印象。
so that we may have an impression. You have heard that it was said to the people long ago, do not murder, and anyone who murders will be subject to judgment. But I tell you that anyone who is angry with his brother will be subject to judgment. Again, anyone who says to his brother, Raka, is answerable to the Sanhedrin. But anyone who says, you fool, will be in danger of the fire of hell. Therefore, if you are offering your gift at the altar, and there remember that your brother has something against you, leave your gift there in front of the altar. First go and be reconciled to your brother, then come and offer your gift. Settle matters quickly with your adversary who is taking you to court. Do it while you are still with him on the way, or he may hand you over to the judge, and the judge may hand you over to the officer, and you may be thrown into prison. I tell you the truth, you will not get out until you have paid the last penny.
這段聖經講什麼？
What does this passage tell us?
耶穌要解釋十誡中間第6條，唔通太冷，真正嘅意思是什麼？
Now Jesus was explaining the 6th commandment, the true meaning of do not murder.
耶穌講你聽到未做太冷，
Jesus said that you have heard, you shall not murder.
因為太冷的確受審判，
Because anyone who murders will be subject to
這
judgment.
是行動。
This is action.
你若太冷以後的確受審判，
When you murder a person, you will surely be subject to judgment.
這個冇問題。
No problem with
但
that.
係耶穌記落去講一句話：
But Jesus added by saying,
未太冷以前，
prior to committing murder,
咱的確心內受氣。
anger must first be produced in our heart.